are you today? Woo! Let's hear it. What a great day, huh? Yeah, it's a great day and a great announcement today, and thank you all for joining us here today. It's a wonderful day for a number of you, for all of us, and for Carnegie Mellon University for sure. I have a startup role, that I have a number of important people to introduce. We've got a large crowd here today. We're very pleased about it. So let me start right away by welcoming Farnham Johanian. Farnham, could you please stand? You'd be the 10th president of Carnegie Mellon University. Welcome, Trish. Thank you for being here. If you could please stand. Woo! Daughter Sarah. Woo! Thomas' sons, Thomas and Dan, are joining us by webcast today. Welcome to them. Good to have you with us today. Now, as you know, the search process is quite a process, as we call it. But I want to really thank Todd Johnson and Jean Van Briesen and all the members of the Presidential Search Committee who have joined us today. Please stand up and be recognized. Gene, as you turned around, you saw all those people standing in the back. You thought maybe they were on the committee too as well, but the feedback we got about Farnham was terrific. These colleagues have put in long hours and poured their heart and soul into finding CMU's next president, and we're very grateful for their service. I would like to also recognize the member of the Board of Trustees who've joined us today. If they could please stand and be recognized. I don't know how many times you're going to have to stand here today, but thank you. Mayor Peduto is represented today by Valerie McDonald Roberts, the mayor's Chief Urban Affairs Officer. Valerie, where is she? And we're also joined by Pittsburgh's newest city councilwoman, Erica Strasburger. Erica, can you please stand? There you go. Thank you, Eric. I would like to recognize the University Leadership Council, composed of our deans, vice presidents, and vice provosts. If they could please stand and be recognized. And now join me in welcoming student government leaders who has joined us today: Travis Carlos, Neil Chowdhury, Pukita Dua, Maitri Joshi, Gabriella Katch, Hana Nuri. Would you please stand and be recognized? Thank you for being here. We also have the president of our Alumni Association Board, Debbie Yu. Debbie, would you please stand? And last but not least, would you join me in welcoming the chair of CMU's Staff Council, Tim Leonard. Tim, would you please stand? Any presidential appointment has the power to change the course and trajectory of the university. For trustees, the selection of this individual and oversight of the president is far and away our most important role. But I would venture to say that Carnegie Mellon's lively history, no presidency has been more important than the one we are about to enter, and really for the best reasons. You've heard me say many times, is this an extraordinary time for Carnegie Mellon University? In our fast accelerating era of technological progress, disruption, the world needs the best scientists, technologists, and researchers to lead the way. It also needs the entrepreneurs and business people who bring these technologies to market, and the policymakers, ethicists, economists, psychologists, educators, and artists who ensure that all of this change ultimately benefits mankind. CMU has leaders in each of these disciplines. More importantly, it has a distinct culture that puts those scholars, teachers, researchers, and performers together and encourages them to collaborate on real-world projects that make concrete benefits for people. And even as they make the breakthroughs that are changing the world around us, they are also training the next generation of bold, collaborative, creative leaders and thinkers, doers and makers. To take advantage of all that, CMU needs the right leader. And Farnam Jahanian possesses a rare set of qualities and experiences that make him exactly the right leader for this university at this extraordinary moment of time. Farnam is a computer scientist whose scholarship has advanced his field and an entrepreneur who knows firsthand how to bring knowledge to market. He served as a policymaker, working tirelessly to make sure technology enhances our society, and in particular, ensuring that its benefits are available to women, underrepresented minorities, and people from all walks of life. He's an educator with a love of the arts and a CMU parent who understands and deeply cares about the student experience. And in the breadth of his experience, the boldness of his vision, and the pragmatic creativity that marks his leadership, Farnam embodies the qualities that make this university great. As we've seen during his time as provost and interim president, Dr. Jahanian has led this institution with an irresistible urgency and a determination to seize the opportunities at hand. He's enabled the deans, senior administrators, faculty, staff, and students to pursue excellence at every level of their work, and he's facilitated new levels of collaboration across the institution, an essential step in securing CMU's place among the world's greatest universities. He's earned the confidence, the enthusiastic support of the trustees, CMU's benefactors, and more than 100,000 alumni around the world. And I can tell you personally, I think this individual has the vision to take us to the next level. Anyone who knows Farnam knows that he has the passion to make sure that every constituency of Carnegie Mellon is benefited, both on and off campus. And to the extent that you know Farnam, you know that his heart is in the work. Farnam, congratulations. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the stage Jean Van Briesen, co-chair of the Presidential Search Committee and chair of the Faculty Senate. Jean?
Thank you, Jim. It's my great pleasure to represent the Presidential Search Committee this afternoon. I want to thank Chairman Jim Rohr and the entire Board of Trustees for their endorsement of our work and their selection of Dr. Farnam Jahanian as the next president of Carnegie Mellon University. I would also like to acknowledge and thank Trustee Todd Johnson, who chaired our search committee, leading a terrific group of faculty and trustees over the past 8 months as we conducted a comprehensive international search for the next leader of this great institution. I want to particularly thank my faculty colleagues on the search committee for their deep engagement with our shared task. Here with me today are David Koffer, Ann Mundell, Dan Sawarik, Todd Perzipian, and Denise Rousseau. Irene Fonseca sends her regrets and her congratulations to our new president. I also want to thank the incredibly supportive staff who worked with the committee. Kathy Light, Chief of Staff and Secretary of the Corporation, Karen Kahn, Assistant Secretary of the Corporation, Karen Maker, Assistant to the President, and Mary Jo Dively, Vice President and Chief Counsel. Kathy and Karen did an amazing amount of work coordinating all of the moving parts of an incredibly complex process. And Mary Jo embodied her title by providing wise counsel throughout. I also want to thank Denise Fazio, the Senate Executive Officer who supports all of my work as Faculty Senate Chair. As Jim aptly summarized, our charge to find the next leader of this institution was a significant responsibility. We dedicated our work to finding a president who would value our unique culture of innovation and collaboration, leading us to build on the potential of this moment in our history. We received input from the community through town hall meetings and many comments sent through the web portal. We heard from students, staff, faculty, and alumni. I am truly grateful to all those members of the Carnegie Mellon community who took time to send us their thoughts, to recommend candidates, and to voice their opinions on the future of Carnegie Mellon and the characteristics needed for its next leader. Certain leadership characteristics were mentioned again and again. A visionary leader aligned with Carnegie Mellon's values, collaboration, collegiality, and innovation. A thought leader aligned with our strategic vision. A motivated partner for internal and external stakeholders. A high-energy champion of Carnegie Mellon's impact and recognition. And a thoughtful, accessible, tireless presence in the life of the Carnegie Mellon community, our students, our staff, our faculty, and our alumni. We were pleased to find these characteristics in Dr. Farnam Jahanian. His combination of vision, dedication, and engagement impressed us as much as his academic credentials and experience. His collaborative leadership style and his openness to continuous learning about Carnegie Mellon fit what we heard from you, our community. In conclusion, I want to offer my sincere congratulations to Dr. Jahanian on this well-deserved appointment.
He's a well-accomplished computer scientist, entrepreneur, and has held several other academic and government leadership positions. Known for his deep engagement with students and his dedication to improving their experience on campus, Dr. Jahanian has already had an enormous impact at CMU.
Good evening. As one of the top institutions in the world, we're a really hard-working place. There's no question about that. But at Carnegie Mellon, when we talk about work, we mean something a little different. We're actively engaged in work that matters. We're at the forefront of bringing people together from diverse backgrounds in science, in engineering, humanities, public policy, business, the arts, to address the pressing issues facing society. We're positioned like no other institution to define and manage the space where technology and human life intersect, and to train the next generation to solve the problem of global significance. This new era will be fueled by ideas, by breakthroughs in new materials and digital technologies and robotics. How do we contribute to this innovation economy? Well, it's through the startups that come out of these universities. It's also creating an entrepreneurial environment where entrepreneurs and innovators want to come to Pittsburgh and be here.
He had his hands in everything good at Carnegie Mellon, and there is no question that in the few years that he has been a part of the Tartan family, he has made lasting impacts to this institution.
I'm in awe of this community and all that it represents. The passion, the ingenuity, the creativity, and the pride. Your passion fuels this great university. You are Carnegie Mellon.
Here who has brought Carnegie Mellon to this magnificent place that we sit in today as one of the great institutions of the entire world. And now let me take one step into the future and introduce to you the 10th president of the Carnegie Mellon University, Farnam Jahanian.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. Oh, I'm going to have to try this again. Okay, good afternoon. Much better, much better. Thank you so much for being here today. First, I'm sorry that we had to change your lunch plans on short notice. I woke up this morning, and one of the first email messages that I received was from a faculty colleague who wanted to know the status of Posner Hall. More specifically, when we were planning to finalize the decision on who moves into Posner Hall after our Tepper School faculty moved to the Tepper Quad. And then a few minutes later, I got an email from the same faculty who said, "Ignore my previous message. I guess you're going to be a little busy today. Congratulations." Jim, I realized that my honeymoon as new president of Carnegie Mellon was over by about 8:05 this morning. I want to start by, first of all, expressing my profound gratitude to our chairman, Jim Rohr. Jim, thank you for your kind words today and for your leadership of the Board of Trustees and for your passion, for your commitment to Carnegie Mellon. I'm personally grateful to you for your counsel during my time here and also to have your support and your mentorship moving forward. Jim, will you please stand up to be recognized? It's incredibly meaningful to be standing here with the endorsement of our committed Board of Trustees. I wish to thank the CMU Board for placing their trust in me to lead this great university at this extraordinary time. I would also like to express my gratitude to members of the Search Committee for their commitment and service to CMU. Special thanks, of course, to committee co-chairs, the leadership of Todd Johnson, Vice Chairman of the Board of Trustees, and of course, Jean Van Briesen, the Chair of our Faculty Senate. Once again, please join me in thanking our I also want to take a special moment to recognize two men who've had an historic impact on this university and who have been so generous in offering their wise counsel to me throughout my time here. Jerry Cohen, President Emeritus, Mark Camlett, former Provost. It means a great deal to me to have Jerry and his wife Bunny, as well as Mark, to be here today. Thank you for everything that you have done for Carnegie Mellon over the years. Will you please stand to be recognized once again? I'm also delighted to have our student leaders with us, representing almost 14,000 students across this great institution, including Neil, Polkita, Travis, Maitri, Gabriella, and Hannah. Thank you for being such an outstanding partners and leaders. While I'm thanking students, special shout out to a contingent of students from our Doha and CMU Africa campuses who are here with us today in Pittsburgh. Will you please join me in recognizing all of the students that are here with us? You know, in talking with our students from our international campuses over the last 3 years, I've noticed how young adults look at the world with the same optimism, the same bold aspirations, and the same desire to make an impact. No matter where they come from, students know that the education they receive at CMU will provide them the opportunity to achieve their dreams. At the end of the day, we're here because of you, our students, To all of our CMU students and alumni who are here with us today or watching on our live stream, thank you for your energy, for your enthusiasm and your passion that you bring to this university. I'm also humbled by accepting this responsibility, surrounded by my outstanding colleagues and friends, our interim provost, Laurie Weingart, the deans, the executive management team, leaders from across the university, our brilliant faculty, and our dedicated staff. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all that you do for this institution. Finally, to my wife, Tris, my wife and my partner, thank you for being by my side today and every day. My daughter, Sarah, who's more than halfway through her junior year here at Carnegie Mellon. I love you, Pops. Thank you for always letting me embarrass you in front of your friends. It started in kindergarten, and it continues to date. And my sons, of course, Daniel and Thomas, I know you're watching from Ann Arbor. Hi, guys. Love you. Today, I'm deeply honored to accept this appointment as the next president of this great institution in this fantastically vibrant city of Pittsburgh. It's a great privilege and a tremendous responsibility. But it is, most of all, an absolute thrill to know that I'll be working side by side with so many of you. Not only our faculty, students, staff, alumni, and parents, but also our civic and community leaders, leaders from the foundation community, policymakers in Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, and Washington, D.C., our corporate partners from around the world, and our so many supporters. Together, we will continue to do work that matters, work that benefits people all around the world. We hear a lot about the headwinds facing higher education these days, and they're real. Beyond public questions surrounding the value of a college degree, even mistrust for academia, there are deeper issues that we must confront, especially access and affordability for college education, constrained federal investment in basic research and higher education, intense competition for recruiting and retaining outstanding talent, as well as societal challenges that I know weigh heavily on our young generation, including diversity, inclusion, and equity, mental health, sexual harassment and misconduct, free speech, and the urgent need for civil discourse. It would be easy to fall into hand-wringing and so become so paralyzed by the myriad of problems out there. It's so easy to fall into that trap that we would miss the enormous opportunities in front of us. So today, I stand here as a true believer in the power of higher education. I'm a true believer in something the education pioneer Horace Mann said in 1848, and I quote, "Education then, beyond all other devices of human origin, is the great equalizer and the balance wheel of the social machinery." Let me be clear. There's no question that higher education can bridge social, economic, racial, and geographical divides like no other force. I firmly believe that as part of a profound social contract, higher education has been provided a degree of autonomy and influence in exchange for performing two core missions: increasing the base of knowledge for society and educating the next generation of leaders in science, engineering, business, humanities, the performing arts, and more. I believe because I have seen it firsthand. In my own education, which opened so many doors, especially as an immigrant who came to this country when I was 16. As a researcher and as an entrepreneur who has seen the enormous economic power of a single idea. By the way, a quick story here. My first true sense of what Carnegie Mellon University students were capable of was through Rob Mallon, a former CMU undergraduate in ECE, who also worked on the Mach project in the early 90s. And I recruited him to University of Michigan for his graduate studies in 1994, 20-some years ago. Rob's appearance at first was a little deceptive. I think our undergraduates can relate to that. He's a Grateful Dead fan who could seem a little distracted at times in first impression. But he had this laser-sharp clarity about the most challenging problems of our research work. His ability to cut through the confusion that threatened to swallow his collaborators. Rob later co-founded Arbor Networks with me and has gone to have an extraordinarily successful career in high tech. Friends, colleagues, that's CMU. I'm also a believer in higher education because I saw in public service where it became so clear that the ideas and creations emerging from higher education serve as the foundation of our success as a nation, driving our economic prosperity. And most of all, I'm a believer because I have seen as someone who has spent the bulk of his career in higher education, including here at CMU over the last few years. As provost and as your interim president, I've had the rare opportunity and the honor to look into every corner of this amazing institution. I've gotten to spend time with Carnegie Mellon artists who are pushing the boundaries of creativity, and the student performers logging long hours of rehearsal, laying the foundation for their own brilliant success. I've gotten to dive deep with the CMU scholars and researchers who are pushing the boundaries of their field, and so often jumping fence all together to work with colleagues in unexpected places. When researchers interact like this, we multiply our impact and seed new ideas with the potential to lead to unanticipated outcomes. I've gotten to spend time in classrooms across our campus and to watch some of our most gifted educators employing every tool at their disposal, from technology-enhanced learning to plain old human inspiration, to teach a new generation of leaders to imagine broadly, think critically, and work collaboratively. And finally, I've gotten to work closely with our provost, deans, department heads, vice presidents, and the extraordinary staff across this university who are stretching themselves every day to support the research and education at the heart of our endeavor. As Jim Rohr pointed out, this is truly an extraordinary time for this institution. Today, we find ourselves in the midst of a global transformation catalyzed by a rapid acceleration in the scope, scale, and ubiquity of digital technologies. Now, more than any other time in our history, Carnegie Mellon is uniquely positioned to meet the needs of this century. Based on our historic strength in foundational research, CMU offers uncommon excellence in computation, data, and engineering, touching almost every part of our lives. Next-generation advanced manufacturing, cybersecurity, decision science, neuroscience, cognitive science, robotics, artificial intelligence. That's CMU. So is cleaning up at the Tonys. and the Putnam competition. Leading in transition design, becoming the first degree-granting drama institution in the United States, and so much more. But what truly defines us as an institution is not any one school, one discipline, or an award. Deep in our DNA, we're about problem solving and fearless creativity at the edges and intersections of traditional boundaries. The story of this century will depend on things we do best: exploration at the nexus of technology and society, data-driven analytics, entrepreneurial thinking, and new forms of creative expressions, and so much more. You know, ever since I joined CMU, I've drawn inspiration from this incredible community, whether it was visiting students and faculty in their classrooms and laboratories, enjoying artistic and dramatic performances, engaging with alumni all over the world, watching and cheering our student athletes, and yes, even helping our deans get into the dunk tank during Carnival. I am truly in awe of all of you, all that you have to offer, and your dedication to making the world smarter, safer, more equitable, and more inspiring. No one brings more passion, creativity, and pride to their work than our outstanding community. I am looking forward to hearing your dreams for shaping the world and the future of this great institution, and working with you to make them possible. Once again, to our Board of Trustees, Chairman Rohr, and the entire university community, thank you. Now let's get to work. Thank you very much.